Isaiah Carter sat quietly in the pilot's lounge, his hands resting on his lap as he stared at the large TV mounted on the wall. It was showing a documentary about the golden age of commercial aviation, and he was completely absorbed in the story. The images of gleaming jetliners soaring above clouds stirred something deep inside him, just as they always had since he was a little boy. He adjusted the lanyard hanging around his neck. Attached to it was a special guest ID, his golden ticket, earned after months of hard work and an essay that had beaten out hundreds of other applicants. The badge granted him access to the Horizon Air Career Discovery Program, an initiative aimed at giving exceptional students an inside look at the world of aviation. Isaiah had dreamed of this moment for as long as he could remember, but the serenity of the moment shattered in an instant. The door swung open with a sharp bang, and Captain Karen Whitaker stepped into the lounge. She was a tall woman in her mid-40s, her crisp uniform immaculate, for gleaming gold stripes on each shoulder. She had flown for Horizon Air for over 20 years, her reputation marked by a no-nonsense attitude that demanded respect. Her sharp blue eyes swept the room and landed squarely on Isaiah. Her expression hardened immediately. "You," she barked, striding toward him. "What are you doing here? We'll let you in." Isaiah instinctively stood, trying to steady his breath and keep his voice polite. "Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Isaiah Carter. I'm here as part of Horizon Air's Career Discovery Program. MS. Linda Reynolds from HR brought me here to wait while she handles some paperwork." But Whitaker wasn't listening. She gave him a long, withering stare, her mouth tightening in disapproval. "This is a restricted area," she snapped. "We don't allow unauthorized visitors in the pilot's lounge. Show me your ID." Isaiah quickly held up his badge. "It's right here," he said, his voice trembling despite his effort to stay composed. With a swift, almost violent motion, Whitaker snatched the lanyard from around his neck. The cord snapped, making Isaiah flinch. She examined the badge for only a second before scoffing loudly. "Fake! I knew it." Her accusation struck Isaiah like a slap across the face. "No, ma'am," he said quickly, his heart pounding in his chest. "MS. Reynolds gave that to me herself. You could check with her." But Whitaker was already speaking into her radio. "Security, this is Captain Whitaker. I have an unauthorized intruder in the pilot's lounge. Possible breach of security. Send officers immediately." Isaiah froze in place, his mind spinning in disbelief. He had been doing nothing wrong. He was simply waiting, watching TV, yet now he was being treated like a criminal. Whispers began to ripple through the area as other pilots and staff members noticed the commotion. Curious glances turned to suspicious stares. Isaiah could feel their eyes boring into him, judging him, condemning him. He could feel the weight of their assumptions pressing on his shoulders. And he knew why. It wasn't the badge they doubted. It wasn't the program. It was him, a 16-year-old black teenager, standing in a place traditionally reserved for pilots, mostly older, mostly white. His presence alone was enough to raise suspicions, and Captain Whitaker's prejudice only fueled the fire. "Ma'am, please," Isaiah tried again, his voice shaking. "I was invited here. MS. Reynolds, I don't care what lies you think will save you." Whitaker cut him off coldly. She turned to the gathering crowd. "This is exactly how security breaches happen. Someone sneaks in with a forged badge, pretending to be part of the program, looking for ways to sabotage flights." Murmurs grew louder. The crowd shifted uneasily, some people nodding in agreement, others pulling out their phones to record. Isaiah's legs trembled. He fought to stay upright, his hands clenched tightly at his sides. The humiliation was almost too much to bear, but he forced himself to stand tall. He had worked too hard to let this be the end. Suddenly, 2 airport security officers arrived. One was a burly man with a thick mustache. The other was younger, his expression less harsh but still cautious. They approached Isaiah at Whitaker's direction. "That's him," she said, pointing at Isaiah as if identifying a dangerous criminal. "Remove him from this area immediately." The officers turned to Isaiah. "Sir, we need you to come with us. the older one said in a firm but professional tone. "We'll need to verify your identity." Isaiah took a step back, his breath quickening. "Please," he begged, "call him S. Reynolds. She can explain everything." But Whitaker shook her head, her arms crossed tightly. "We're done with the excuses." As the officers reached for him, Isaiah's survival instincts took over. "Let me call my dad," he pleaded, fumbling for his phone. "He'll explain everything." "Go ahead," Whitaker sneered. "I'm sure your father, probably a janitor here, will have a great story." Her words were like poison. Isaiah's hands shook violently as he dialed his father's number, each ring echoing in his ears like a ticking clock. David Carter was more than a janitor. He was the regional administrator for the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, overseeing flight safety for half the country. And he had always taught Isaiah that the sky was open for everyone, if they dared to reach for it. "Dad," Isaiah choked out when the line finally connected. "I need help." David Carter's voice was calm but commanding. "I'm on my way." Memories that gave him strength. As Isaiah stood there, waiting for his father to arrive, memories flooded his mind. He remembered his 6th birthday, when David had taken him to Dulles International Airport for a surprise tour. He remembered standing under the wing of a massive Boeing 777, feeling like he could touch the sky. He remembered hours spent building airplane models, learning the schematics of engines, and mastering flight simulators late into the night. His father had always said, "You belong in the sky." Isaiah held on to those words as the minutes dragged by. But Captain Whitaker wasn't done. "This is why we can't be careless," she announced loudly. Even a harmless-looking kid could be planning something terrible. Isaiah gritted his teeth, swallowing his pride. He knew he had to hold on a little longer. The arrival that changed everything. 20 minutes later, the tension in the room exploded. The security officers' radios crackled. "Attention! VIP entering the area. Clear the lounge." The doors burst open. David Carter strode in, flanked by FAA officials. His sharp suit and commanding presence left no doubt about who he was. Captain Whitaker's smug expression evaporated. Her eyes widened in horror as she realized the man approaching Isaiah was not a janitor, but one of the most powerful men in aviation. "Isaiah," David said, his voice gentle as he rested a firm hand on his son's shoulder. "Are you all right?" Isaiah nodded, fighting back tears. David Carter turned to Whitaker. "I'm David Carter, FAA Regional Administrator. This is my son." Whitaker stammered. "I didn't know." David's gaze was like steel. "You didn't need to know he was my son to treat him with respect." The room fell deathly silent. Justice delivered. David addressed the crowd. Captain Whitaker accused an innocent boy based on assumptions. There was no evidence, only prejudice. He ordered an immediate review of security footage. The video showed Isaiah entering the lounge with Linda Reynolds, receiving his badge, and sitting quietly the entire time. "No misconduct. No breach." An FAA official added, "This isn't the first complaint against Captain Whitaker." Whitaker paled. David's tone was final. "Captain Whitaker, you are suspended pending a full investigation." 2 security officers escorted her out. No one spoke in her defense. A new beginning. David turned to Isaiah. "I'm proud of you," he said softly, "for standing tall." Later, Captain Amara Johnson approached Isaiah. A trailblazing black female pilot, she offered to show him the cockpit of the Boeing 787 she was flying. As Isaiah stepped into the cockpit, his heart swelled. He belonged here. The sky was his to claim. An industry transformed. The incident sparked change. David Carter spearheaded initiatives to promote diversity in aviation. Isaiah became a youth ambassador, inspiring thousands with his story. He ended every talk with the same message: diversity is our strength. The sky welcomes everyone brave enough to fly. Epilogue. Isaiah Carter's courage that day didn't just reclaim his dream. It changed an entire industry. And he knew, no matter how high he flew, he would always carry that lesson with him.